Hello, hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to IELTS Speaking Eloquence. This is me, 𝗁𝐿 Caroline from 𝐂𝐴𝐧 Academy. So I'm back with another speaking live session for you guys. So today we'll be looking into a part 2 question along with a sample answer, and after that I'll be showing you the good vocabulary that I have selected and used for this particular sample, and then we will also look into the grammar structure. Okay, so I'll show you and take you through the different sentence structures that I have used here, the adverbial uses or the time clauses I have put into use. So you will get to understand by seeing this live how you can make your speaking test much better, how you can incorporate all those things like these adverbial clauses, all these time clauses and these different grammar structures to make your entire speaking test sound really good, and you can easily get your 7 band, 8 band or even 9 band score. So you need to make sure that you understand each aspect. So it's all about not kind of like using really uncommon words or really difficult technical words in your speaking test. It's about placing the right word at the right place and effectively merging it into a good sentence construction. So in this particular sample answer, I have used really good. Some are kind of like uncommon vocabulary, like it might be new to you, but most of them are kind of like familiar, but we don't use it in our everyday conversation. You know what I'm talking about. Like, it is not kind of like very common, but at the same time we know these words. It's like that we don't just use it in our everyday talking purpose, but if you use it in the right way, in the right place, in the right manner, these words can do wonders. These words will make your entire presentation sound really nice, really attractive, really professional, really academic as well. So let's see what it has done or how it is done. So I'll just give an overview about how this live session is going to be. First, I'll be showing you the cue card, and remember, you'll have 1 minute to have a look at it. Like, you can brainstorm all the ideas, you can select the topic that you're going to talk about, and you can plan about how you're going to expand each questions. And then I'll show you the sample answer. After that, we'll be looking into the vocabulary that is used with the meaning, and then I'll take you back to the sample answer and show where I have used that word and how it is being used. And at last, we'll be looking into the grammar structures, different sentences and different time clauses that I have used. Okay, so that's an overview about the live segment. So I hope you guys are ready. So let's get started, and over to the screen you can see the cue card right now. Alright everyone, so that's the end of your preparation time. So now let's start having a look at the cue card right now. So read it along with me. Describe a time when you helped someone. You should say who you helped, how you helped them, why you helped them, and explain how this person benefited from your help. So these are the 4 sub questions you have, and you can see that you have to talk about a time that happened in the past. Okay, you have to explain when you helped someone. Okay, so you understood that you need to talk about a person and you need to talk about a person you have helped. So these are the different 4 questions you have in your cue card as well. So let's have a look at the sample answer. I started like this. A notable instance when I assisted someone occurred last year when a colleague of mine was grappling with an overwhelming workload. He had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle left him feeling anxious and under immense pressure. Recognizing his distress, I offered to help him streamline his work processes, as I had some experience in managing similar responsibilities. We sat down together and I suggested that he prioritize tasks using a time management matrix, which helps in categorizing tasks based on their urgency and importance. I also introduced him to some productivity tools that would enable him to automate repetitive tasks and better allocate his time. In addition, I provided him with strategies to delegate responsibilities more effectively, allowing him to focus on high priority projects. The reason I was eager to help him was not only because we worked closely, but also because I understood the strain of adjusting to new responsibilities, having gone through a similar transition myself. I felt a strong sense of empathy for him, knowing how daunting such a shift can be without the right support network. In the end, my assistance proved to be invaluable to him. Over the following weeks, he became more adept at managing his time, his stress levels decreased, and he was able to fulfill his duties with greater efficiency. The sense of accomplishment I felt from seeing him thrive after implementing the strategies I had suggested was immensely gratifying, and it reinforced the importance of offering a helping hand when someone is struggling. So these are the different paragraphs I've used to show my introduction, my body content, and my conclusion part. So this is a well-built sample answer. So let me just take you through the line-by-line explanation and see how we have done it. So I started with an intro line, a notable instance, and I've used the word notable there. Okay, so usually we say remarkable or a very good instance, or if I have to talk about an instance, etc., etc. So instead of that, you can try this one too. A notable instance which I assisted someone occurred last year. So I'm giving the time frame. It occurred last year when a colleague of mine was grappling with an overwhelming workload. So this one is for people who kind of like do jobs. Okay, if you're a person who is working, and if you get a question like this sample answer would be more apt for you. But if you are a student, okay, you just finished maybe your 12th grade and you are just trying to move abroad for your higher studies, you can come up with something maybe like a project, and there was a team lead and he was struggling to manage everyone together. So you knew how difficult it would be because you have done it in the past, so you offered help. So you can just change the context here into a different one which might fit your explanation. Okay, so you guys know what to do about it. You just have to change this context according to your perspective and then try to understand the usages I have used here, the way I have said it, the way I have constructed the sentence and everything, so it will be more effectively useful for you guys. Okay, so that is my first line. I just gave out the information when it happened and what was the problem, or what led me, or what was kind of like the force behind me to help him. So that's the point, that is he had overwhelming workload. Then the next point, he had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle, that means a lot of tasks he had to handle, left him feeling anxious and under immense pressure. Recognizing his distress, that's a very nice usage. Okay, once you realized it. So normally we say after I saw him like that, or you try to say something like I know he was struggling so much, so once I see him like that, I try to offer my help, and etc. So instead of that, you can use this phrase, recognizing his distress. I offered to help him streamline his work processes, as I had some experience in managing similar responsibilities. We sat down together and I suggested that he prioritize tasks using a time management matrix, which helps in categorizing tasks based on their urgency and importance. I also introduced him to some productivity tools that would enable him to automate repetitive tasks and better allocate his time. In addition, I provided him with strategies to delegate responsibilities more effectively, allowing him to focus on high priority projects. So, our entire paragraph talks about how I helped him, what advice I gave him, what strategies we discussed. Okay, from my personal experience, how I helped this person, how I introduced the time management metrics, how I spoke to him about prioritizing the projects based on the importance, how I spoke to him about delegating responsibility to ease his work. So these are the different strategies that I've used to help my friend. So I'm detailing all those points here. I'm explaining in a detail about what was the help that I offered. Okay, and you can see really good usages. The only point you have to focus here is it has to be in the past form. Okay, you can see all the verbs are in the past form, like we sat, suggested, okay, then introduced, then provided, etc, etc. So everything, all the verbs are kind of like in the past tense, which is important because our question is about something that happened in the past. So you have to be very careful about it. Okay, now the next paragraph says the reason why I wanted to help this person. So I started by saying the reason I was eager to help him. So it's a direct answering to the question why you wanted to help him, or what led you to help that person, or what inspired you to help that person. So I started by saying the reason I was eager to help him was not only because he worked closely, but also because I understood the strain of adjusting to new responsibilities, having gone through a similar transition myself. So literally you did help that person because you had gone through the same thing before. Being in the same place, you understood how difficult it was to be there, how difficult the transition is for you. So you saw yourself in him, so you decided to help that person. I felt a strong sense of empathy for him. That's a very nice usage. I felt a strong sense of empathy. We normally say I felt bad for him. So instead of that, you can say I felt a strong sense of empathy for him, knowing how daunting such a shift can be without the right support network. In the end, time close, my assistance proved to be invaluable to him. Over the following weeks, again time close, he became more adept at managing his time. His stress levels decreased and he was able to fulfill his duties with greater efficiency. The sense of accomplishment I felt from seeing him thrive after implementing the strategies I had suggested was immensely gratifying, and it reinforced the importance of offering a helping hand when someone is struggling. Okay, and then if you want, you can just add one more line by saying, so this is one of the instances I've helped someone. Okay, and you can give a proper closure. This is also a good closure, but if you want, you can just add on one more line too. So this is the sample answer that I have used. So now let's look into the list of vocabulary that I've used here, and then I'll take you back to the sample answer and show the different places where I have used and merged these words into the context. Okay, so let's have a look at the list of vocabulary here. So the first word is notable. So notable means worthy of attention, significant. Okay, kind of like remarkable, etc. Second one, grappling, which means struggling with or trying to overcome a difficult problem. So grappling is a word that is used to denote a struggling situation, or if you're struggling with something, or if you're trying really hard to overcome a difficult situation, you can use the word grappling. Third one is overwhelming, which is quite normal and common for you guys. Something so intense that it's hard to handle. Fourth one, sheer volume, emphasizes the large quantity of something. So instead of saying a lot of work, sheer volume of work, which means it's showing that there is a large quantity of something. Number 5, distress, extreme anxiety or sorrow. Distress means you're extremely anxious or you are going through a sorrowful situation. That is what is called distress. Sixth one, streamline, to improve efficiency by simplifying processes, to make something easy or to make something kind of like simple to work with using very simple and easy to use processes. That is what is called streamline. The next one, seventh one, is time management metrics. I'm pretty sure you guys noted that word when I showed the sample answer. So time management metrics, it means a system for organizing tasks based on urgency and importance. So that is what is called time management metrics. So it's a system of organizing tasks based on urgency and importance. Eighth one, automate, which is a common word, to make a process operate automatically. Ninth one, delegate. I'm pretty sure most of you know the meaning of this word. However, we don't kind of like tend to use it quite often. But this is a very popular corporate word. Okay, so if you work in a managerial aspect, you might be very familiar with this word. So delegate means to assign tasks to others to lighten one's own workload. So especially if you are a team lead and you have some people to work under you, so for a better efficiency and also to make sure that you can monitor everything and you can supervise everything and you can get the work done, especially that's the main point, you can get the work done on time, delegation is the best method. Okay, that's why you always have a team. So that is the word delegate. 10th one, adept, which means highly skilled or proficient in a task. You're too good at it, you're excellent in it. Okay, 11th one is daunting, which means intimidating or difficult to deal with. That is what is called daunting. 12th one, invaluable, extremely useful or indispensable. Okay, invaluable means valuable, like really valuable, extremely useful. Okay, the next set, adept. Okay, we just looked into that, very skilled or proficient at something. 14 is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. You know that word. Gratifying is another common word, giving pleasure or satisfaction. I use that towards the conclusion. Okay, giving pleasure or satisfaction, that is called gratifying. And 16, the last one, is thrive. This is also a very common word, to grow or develop successfully. Okay, so these are the different set of words that I've used. So now let's go to our sample answer and see the uses or the words I have placed in the right place to make the sentence look much better and attractive. Okay, so let's start with the first one, which was notable. Okay, you can see notable right at the beginning here, a notable instance, which means worthy of attention or something remarkable. So you're saying a remarkable instance, okay, or a very good instance. Okay, or if I have to talk about a time when I helped someone, I would like to talk about the time I helped one of my colleagues. Okay, so instead of saying like that, you can say a notable instance when I assisted someone. Okay, so that is the meaning there, and that is a place where I have used it, a notable instance. Second one is grappling, and you can see the word grappling here. Grappling. So what is the meaning of grappling? Struggling with or trying to overcome a difficult problem. That is what is called grappling. So the context is, I helped this person when a colleague of mine was grappling with an overwhelming workload. And what do you mean by overwhelming? That is a third word that I have listed down. So overwhelming means something so intense that it is hard. So what is hard? The workload is hard. it is so intense, so it is overwhelming for the person, and the person was grappling. Grappling means struggling, very difficult situation. Okay, the fourth word is sheer volume. You can see that here, sheer volume. So he had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks. So what do you mean by that? Sheer volume means large quantity of something. So sheer volume of tasks means he had a lot of tasks to complete. So that is determined or explained by the word sheer volume. The next one is distress. You can see that here. Distress. Distress means extreme anxiety or sorrow, etc. So in this context, it is anxiety, okay, because he has a lot of tasks to do. So he is actually really worried and anxious and kind of like terrified whether he can finish everything on time, because he is new, he just got a promotion. So he's going through a really difficult time. So that is called distress here. The next one is time management metrics, and you can see that here. Time management metrics is a system for organizing tasks based on priority and importance. Okay, so that is a process, a technical process. So you can see that how I've used it there. So we sat down together and I suggested that he prioritize tasks, okay, using a time management metrics. The next one is automate. Okay, automate is used here. Automate means to make a process operate automatically. So this is how the sentence is. I also introduced him to some productivity tools that would enable him to automate repetitive tasks. So there are a lot of tasks which are kind of like repetitive. So I've helped him introduce some tools which can be used to automate the repetitive task so that he doesn't have to do it over and over again. Okay, so that is how we use that word. Ninth one is delegate. You can see delegate here. Delegate means to assign tasks to others to lighten one's own workload or for a better productivity. Okay, so I provided him with the strategies to delegate responsibilities more effectively, allowing him to focus on high priority projects. So delegate means to divide the work among his teammates. So that is the word we usually say, and I helped him with some strategies to divide the work among his teammates. So instead of that, you can use the word delegate. Okay, so now let's have a look at next one, which is adept. Adept means highly skilled or proficient in a task. That is the meaning of adept. Okay, and you can see the word adept. The reason I was eager to help him was not only because he worked closely, but also because I understood the strain of adjusting to new responsibilities, having gone through a similar transition myself. I felt a strong sense of empathy for him, knowing how daunting such a shift can be without the right support network. In the end, my assistance proved to be invaluable to him. Over the weeks, he became more adept. So adept means more skillful, highly skilled or proficient in a task. So he had all that quality, so he just needed a kickstart. He just needed someone to help him in the beginning. So once he found his foot there, he became very good at it. He's proficient at it. He's excellent at it. That is the meaning of adept. The next word is empathy. Okay, so let's have a look at where I've used the word empathy here. I felt a strong sense of empathy, which means the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So that is how the word empathy is there. I felt a strong sense of empathy for him, which means you understood from his perspective, from his point of view. Another word is daunting. Daunting means intimidating or difficult to deal with. So knowing how difficult such a shift can be. So instead of difficult, I use the word daunting there. The next word is gratifying. Okay, this is kind of like my favorite word in this particular sample answer. So gratifying means giving pleasure or satisfaction. So the sense of accomplishment I felt from seeing him thrive after implementing the strategies I had suggested was immensely gratifying. So that is kind of like satisfying. Okay, instead of satisfying, you can say gratifying. And the reason why I use gratifying is because you helped this person. So it was kind of like a realization that, okay, I helped him, and because of my help he could survive, or he could success in this particular difficult situation. So that was kind of like gratifying. That's such a huge satisfaction for you. So that is the right word. Okay, and the last one is thrive. Thrive means to grow or develop successfully. Okay, so thrive is the sense of accomplishment I felt from seeing him thrive. So that means he survived. Okay, so you're just saying that he thrived well, he fought well, he came out with good results, etc. So that is the meaning of thrive there. Okay, so this is how I've used all these words in different places in the sample answer, and I hope it is clear to you guys. You got an idea about how these words can be used. So most of these words are kind of like familiar to you, but very uncommon. It's fairly common, to be honest. Like, it's common, but it's not very popularly used. So you can see how I have used in different contexts here, and how well it is placed into a sentence to make it sound or look really good. Okay, so this is with the vocabulary. So I hope you made a note of it and try to use it the next time when you get a similar context, or try to see where you can use this in your one-to-one sessions. You need to find out the different places which is more apt for these kind of words. Okay, so now let's have a look at the grammar structures that I have used in the different places of the sample answer. So first one I would like to take you is the time clauses. So in the IELTS speaking test, we use a lot of time clauses because we have to show describe. We always describe or talk about something that happened, or something you're planning, or something that is happening right now. So you need to use the time clauses to denote what particular time, or at what time, or at when, and etc, etc. So you always get these questions like when it happened, etc. So you need to be using these time phrases to have a clarity of speech. You need to be using this to clearly state this is when it happened, this is when it will happen, or this is when it is happening, etc. So let's see what are the different clauses I have used in this particular sample answer. The first one is, a notable instance when I assisted someone occurred last year. So here the time clause uses when to introduce the specific event that happened in the past. When. Okay, this is anchoring the action to a specific point in time. Okay, when it occurred last year. Another one is over the following weeks. Over the following weeks, he became more adept at managing his time. Next, over the following weeks is a time clause that shows the gradual progress over a period. Okay, so that is one word. In the end is another time clause that I have used. In the end means towards the end, or after a few weeks, or after a few days. So that is another time clause that I have used here. Okay, so you need to have an idea about using proper time clauses to show a proper transition of your story that you have built, which is very crucial. Next one is adverbial use. So I've used quite a lot of adverbs here, so let me take you through a couple of them. He was feeling anxious and under immense pressure. The adverbial phrase under immense pressure modifies the verb feeling, giving more detail about his emotional state. So you can see feeling anxious, and this particular usage under immense pressure is actually kind of like giving more details about why I was feeling anxious. Okay, then the next one is, I suggested that he prioritize tasks using a time management matrix. So here, using a time management matrix explains how he should prioritize tasks. So I suggested that he prioritize. This is a verb. Okay, prioritize the tasks. So when I say using a time management matrix, I'm kind of like adding clarity to the action. Okay, the action is prioritize. Okay, so this is how you can use adverbial uses in your speaking test. The next one is compound sentences. He had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle left him feeling anxious and under immense pressure. So this compound sentence, it connects two related ideas, highlighting the cause, that is the promotion, okay, and its effect, the anxiety and pressure. Okay, so this is how related details can be clubbed together, and I just used and the conjunction to connect it. So he had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle left him feeling anxious and under immense pressure. The next one is, we sat down together and I suggested that he prioritize tasks. So again, you can see the connection here. Okay, so another compound sentence connecting the action of sitting down and the act of offering a suggestion, maintaining fluency in the narrative. Okay, so you can see that very clearly. So we sat down together, and then what did we do? I suggested that he prioritize tasks. So this is another compound sentence. Now let's have a look at the complex sentences that I've used here. The reason I was eager to help him was not only because he worked closely, but also because I understood the strain of adjusting to new responsibilities. So this complex sentence, it combines two reasons for helping into one flowing idea using not only but also. You can see that here, not only but also, showing a high level of grammatical proficiency. Okay, see that here. The reason I was eager to help him was not only because he worked closely, but also because I understood the strain of adjusting to new responsibilities. Let's have a look at another example. Recognizing his distress, I offered to help him streamline his work processes. So a dependent clause recognizing his distress introduces this sentence followed by the main clause. So you can see that recognizing his distress is kind of like a dependent clause. I offered to help him streamline his work process is kind of like another independent clause. So that is the main clause that you have. So this is kind of like having a smoother narrative progression. Okay. The previous one also is a similar thing, so you need to understand how you use the compound and complex sentences. Now the last one, compound complex sentences. So I have used a mixture of these two. So I'll show you that. He had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle left him feeling anxious and under immense pressure. So this sentence, it contains two main clauses joined by and, followed by a subordinative clause beginning with that, combining both compound and complex elements for variety and sophistication. Okay, so let's see that. So there are two main clauses. It is joined by and. Okay, you can see that here. He had recently been promoted to a managerial position. One thing, the sheer volume of tasks he had to handle left him feeling anxious. Okay, so you can see these two are connected with and, followed by a subordinative clause beginning with that. Okay, under immense pressure. Alright, so you can see the combining these both compound and complex sentences for variety and sophistication. So you can see how I clubbed all these things together. Another example, in the end, my assistance proved to be invaluable to him, and over the following weeks, he became more adept at managing his time. His stress levels decreased, and he was able to fulfill his duties with greater efficiency. So this compound complex sentence uses multiple clauses to convey several results in a smooth, following manner, showcasing a command of sentence variety and complexity. There are multiple things. In the end, my assistance proved to be invaluable to him. That is one particular clause. And over the following weeks, he became more adept at managing his time. His stress levels decreased. That is also one point. And he was able to fulfill his duties with greater efficiency. So you can see multiple independent clauses being clubbed together, and you can see how this variety and complexity of sentence has been structured there. So you can try to connect sentences, concise it into this detail as well. So instead of just using it to do different sentences, kind of like creating simple separate explanations, you can just concise it together. You can build something like this so that it will be more easier for you to speak as well as to cover all the points as well. Okay, so these are the different usages I have used in this particular sample answer, and the list of vocabulary that is being used as well. So I hope it is clear to you guys. So the point I have to tell you is, always remember that you learn a list of vocabulary with each sample answer or with each question that you attend to, and try to remember it, memorize it, try to learn the different uses, different contexts you can put it into, and make sure that you try to practice constructing statements kind of like one-to-one sessions when you do it, and see whether you are feeling comfortable using it, whether it comes naturally to you. It shouldn't sound like you have learned it, or precisely speaking you have memorized it. It should not sound very artificial, like it is just coming out of it. It should be like very natural. It should not sound artificial at all. It should just flow into that particular segment. Okay, so always remember to do that. So as always, I hope this was helpful for you guys and you guys learned something new about it. So I'll be coming back next Wednesday, the same time, with another topic with the same explanations, with a different set of vocabulary and good grammar structures as well. So until then, take care. I'll be seeing you guys next week.